the way balance and ears
a lot
work
of
is that
things.
it's like hanging things in your ear.
Go ahead.
And like so it's like they're doing that when you're set down. If you go upside down, let's
Kill
talk about-
science?
You kill science.
Let me talk about something.
Go ahead.
Tongues, right? Do you ever
Okay.
brush your tongue when you're brushing your teeth?
We talked about this once before. We had it all worked out.
I don't know.
Anyway, go ahead.
But I can't vote because I'm not an American.
Cast.
Listen to our podcast in the car, you jackass.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
And they were.
So in the Declaration of Independence, right?
Go
it
ahead.
says something about all men are created equal.
Yes.
Right?
Someone comes into that position of power. There's always a residence where they go, like the White House or 10 Downing Street.
Go ahead.
So when they're not prime minister, like when they're, all right, you've been asleep for 15 years.
Go ahead.
You're going to be dead in an hour, but I want you to know that I was here the whole time. Do you think full penetrative intercourse
Go ahead.
is a real website?
Full penetrative intercourse.
So
And he was just like spitting, and he went, go ahead.
He went like 800 miles an hour. So say you have a gun and you shoot it towards the Earth while you're moving at 800 miles an hour
Go
towards
ahead.
the Earth. Does it double the speed of a bullet? If your teeth
Go
hit
ahead.
on one side but not another, I think your whole body drifts. Yeah.
Funny story.
Go ahead.
In, I want to say Seattle.
So what I don't understand about Reddit is,
Shut up. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
is you get the front page of Reddit and everything.
The fucking chart.
As a regular
But I never had the
human.
reference. I signed up, I'm like, oh, I have a Twitter, and then it had 4,000 followers in a day.
Go ahead.
I mean,
He's never lived a
Just
regular
dig.
life.
Dig that hole. Go ahead. What else, Gavin?
But
What
what
else
is
about the common people annoys you?
You go in the elevator and then you walk through like the projection room.
This is like 8 stories in one. Yeah. Like 4 segues. Here, go
To
ahead.
get to the balcony.
We're reading the sign. Okay, we're just reading the sign. But I said, go ahead. He goes, like that, because I didn't answer him fast enough.
Planet World, right?
Planet World.
All of a sudden,
Citizen person
a giant
on Planet World. Go ahead.
all of a sudden
Finish.
say there was a giant planet that just appeared kind of near Earth, right?
Impossible. Go
yeah,
ahead.
but say it did.
Okay, I'll say
so
it
it's,
did.
it's just gone like, poof. Now, Earth would be affected by the gravity of this. What I never realized is that the Flood were only an enemy in the Halo games because obviously the rings were already set off before, like 100,000 years ago or whatever, by the Foreigners.
Go ahead.
Which killed themselves. I hate it when you say that.
Have you read the books? Have you read like
No.
Cryptum?
But
We should ask our viewers where they are
If only there was a way to do that. Go ahead.
in the U.S., what time zone they're in. So
I guess the diameter of my pee hole got like big enough to, it's not
Go ahead.
precise anymore because it grew a little bit.
You don't like Angelina Jolie?
Yeah, I don't
I'm
get it.
going to get a lot of shit for this.
Go ahead.
Brad Pitt.
Really?
If somebody shoved a siren up your asshole,
Go ahead.
Jesus
right, okay,
Christ.
would it be quieter if you're a fat guy?
Yeah.
And the didact of what fighting in the world is fighting, the didact in the librarian is fighting one, right?
This is a really
And
sarcastic
there's fighting,
impression, but okay.
and
Go
it's
ahead.
like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I wasn't paying attention to that part of the podcast just now.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the Prometheans are digitized.
They're digitized humans.
And that's
They're-
why that when you kill them, they kind of
Ah.
purge themselves,
Yeah, okay,
right?
let's go back.
Right. Go ahead.
Prometheans,
Prometheans.
digitized humans.
That's correct.
All right, now who the fuck's gonna do that?
I want to talk very briefly about my first Black Friday experience.
Go ahead.
On Thursday night, I went.
Anyways, we cut off your story.
Yeah. Go ahead,
ahead.
Gav.
So as someone who's not there for the, because it was
It's like if you want to look at like, you know, rules for how a society starts to fall apart.
Go ahead.
You can look at like Katrina.
right now, you flick on a bit of porn to do that, right?
Flick it. Flick it on.
Not
Barbara.
always.
Flick on a bit
Not
of
always.
porn. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He connects
that's
very well with the
unbelievably
corner.
embarrassing. You missed a desk with a hammer. Go ahead.
wasn't that fair.
So the corner of my desk is now just mullered and like. I want to know something.
Go ahead.
Why did you go quiet when I was talking about wet dreams? But as a guy, it feels good. The tip of your penis.
Go
feels
ahead.
Good. But I
Okay.
can't imagine like. I would have finished in the bathroom, come over here,
Go ahead.
and everything would have been fine.
I have to get mad at you because
And the cat was playing around and like ran into the room.
Is the guy from Mega 64?
No,
Okay, go ahead.
it's just some random guy.
rolling back to Lord of the Rings, I
go
wanted
ahead.
to talk about.
Is there best arcade game or downloadable game on there?
He just said
yeah,
that.
downloadable
Go
game
ahead.
content.
No, he said DLC. That was
I
different.
said downloadable game content.
Have you seen Powerpuff Girls?
I'll get back to this when they're done.
Okay, go ahead. Why do you want to know?
donuts
I
now.
think it'd be funny to make a baby
Go ahead.
from a smattering of jizz that was on something. Okay, so there's cave dudes all around.
Go
cave
ahead.
Men and women. Someone's like, I want a red. People do stuff in porn that's really unpleasant. That I would never do with an actual girl.
Go ahead.
That's why you look for the kind you like.
That's pretty impressive.
Figure it out.
If you were being chased by a big dog,
Go ahead.
doesn't it make more sense?
Well, the prostate is an area of, it arouses you, right?
Yeah.
Go on.
Go ahead.
Did it feel good?
He's not saying heat though. He's saying light.
I know.
If you shine a torch through your finger,
Go ahead.
You can see it. You can see in your hand. Everything in us, since the beginning of time, has evolved to be that way, right? What?
Go ahead.
We've evolved to this.
Yes, you
This
have.
is the most advanced human.
Obviously, I use Wi-Fi.
Everything can kill you.
I don't
Water
like
can kill
invisible
you.
shit. It's wrong for stuff to be invisible. It's not fair. Go ahead.
What about stuff that
Natural
is
gas.
visible but it just kills you anyway?
Like people have a Griff and Simmons ship, or they ship Griff and Simmons.
It's like a relationship thing? Like
Go ahead, Miles.
fan
Now,
fiction?
now explain it.
I learned
Okay.
this. Get in a row. Like this is what you could do. You could get a row of girls,
Go ahead.
and you could see which one likes you the most.
How?
I'll
Because
tell you
they
what.
do different body stuff.
Ready? I'm underwater.
You're underwater. You breathe out,
Go ahead.
and bubbles come out. Mm-hmm. There's oxygen in the bubble, right?
There's some.
There's some.
Yeah.
Some.
Carbon dioxide and oxygen.
And oxygen.
Girls, right? We were talking about this recently. They have all their eggs in them
Go ahead.
when they're born.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you're born,
All of a sudden,
So-
the damn spam bots showed up.
when you drive in this country,
Go ahead.
Are you conscious of how much money you spend on gas? All right.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, anyway, right?
I don't know
I
what you mean
could-
by gambling.
I
what'd
could
you
double
say?
my money in a second.
Go ahead. How?
Well,
So,
So how do you feel about making a video
go ahead.
called An Interview with the Fulcrum?
Yes.
Yes.
He has like hardly like any.
Easy. Go ahead.
Move along.
Is he regular?
He's
Like if nukes just came flinging at America,
Go ahead.
I wouldn't get hit.
You mean you?
But you can be powered on. But
Go ahead. You mean like brain dead?
A baby who was sat. There's a block of flats.
Go ahead.
What would you call it? Apartments, right? And he lands
On his
in the
nappy.
sitting position on his
Dumps.
nappy.
Go ahead.
It absorbs all of his fall, exploding and decelerating him enough where he didn't break his back and all that stuff.
Go ahead.
So did you announce the 2 new things we have coming out April 1st? The ones that we were working on in here?
Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to spoil it if I'm not supposed to.
Say I'm walking through the street and it's pitch black.
Go ahead.
I think I'm a little uneasy right now. So when you install a game to your Xbox hard drive,
Go ahead.
you then put the disc in. Well,
And the
it's in
drive.
It reads from underneath.
Go
The
ahead.
top is just metal, isn't it? Have you
Sweatbands.
ever been turned on by something that wasn't living?
Go ahead.
Have you ever been turned on by an object?
no.
What happened to the potatoes?
so I'm on the fucking meat diet.
Joel. Sorry. Go ahead.
What did you put on your potato? Did you start with sour cream?
No, I mean, had it been anything, so I go with it. But you know what?
If you can produce sperm
Go ahead.
and eggs, I have a question about
Uh-oh.
starving to death.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Right? When you starve to
What do you,
I mean, like,
Go ahead.
Okay, so say,
When?
is it just you giving up?
No. What do you?
I mean, like,
Go ahead.
Okay, so say I
ahead.
went without food. I was through the desert, it's crawling along.
This is one of the longest flights in the world.
So I already wasn't looking forward to this flight, and
I'm not as interested. Sorry, go ahead.
so like,
Like, you're
great.
asshole.
Let's
Yeah.
start this conversation again. Now I get to call you guys freaks. Go ahead. Go ahead.
wait. So Gavin, what do you shave down there?
Forest. Can you get? Because
Go ahead.
There's a plane flying overhead. It's kind of distracting.
Hey, hand me the rest of those.
We got to start exploring these a little
Yeah.
more.
Go ahead.
Do we though?
Please. I got.
if you put money on a 50-50
Go ahead.
on the thing, if you like put it on black.
It's that's why I can't get a Roomba.
But this is my point.
Build
ahead.
a ramp.
I saw Nick. This is
Yeah.
a decision that I haven't made,
Go
but
ahead.
it does happen. If I like a girl who likes horses, I am attracted to her less.
Isn't that a Google?
Googleplex is a Google to the power of Google, isn't
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
They're both. It doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Go ahead.
That Casey Snowball's place off of like Airport and 51st.
Don't know it. Go ahead.
Girls are way louder in every way than, like, in movies
Go ahead.
or in TV. I was watching The Wire. If you plug a ton of stuff into that,
Go ahead. Time slows down. In depth.
Yeah.
Also-
it's fun. A lot of fun.
you got to remember
Go ahead.
that you're not very good at Halo games. Upside down.
Go ahead.
Do you dream upside down?
What does that mean?
Like, would you be upside
Like
down in the
hanging
dream?
upside down?
It just compensates.
Well, like nostrils.
Go ahead.
You only breathe through one nostril. We should have a general anesthetic
Go ahead.
sprint contest.
What does that mean?
So we get anesthetized, and then we run, see who gets the furthest.
Tired of that fucking discussion. And I don't want to have it anymore. Go ahead.
And so I feel like already now the.
I'm gonna get to that in the
Okay.
story.
Go ahead.
Well, you don't tell that part first.
What do you mean? So I have a GoPro, right?
Go ahead.
Which comes with an underwater case.
we were talking about who we thought was really attractive.
Go ahead.
I thought Hayden.
You know what I mean? Where
What I like
Go ahead.
What I like about .xxx.
Here's how I feel about you guys with social media, because you're so old. You're like
Go
the
ahead.
old people. I think with you and Gavin, here's what I've determined.
ahead.
Is that you're from America. I study media communications at university, so I should be able to give you an academic answer to your question.
Go ahead.
So, when we were in California,
Go ahead.
I was intending on staying 3 days.
I washed my clothing at a laundry. Go ahead.
Okay, well,
Also, there's laundry service at hotels. Here, let me read this thing.
Go ahead and read.
About how desks don't incorporate enough technology.
Go ahead.
I saw a picture.
like, say there's a hot girl, right?
Go ahead.
And she's looking at you, and you know she's looking at you.
It happens.
I'll wait for Burnie to be done with his.
All right, go ahead.
Funny little thing.
Diminutive and childlike.
Pussies.
Pussies.
Go ahead. From the list, why don't you?
How about this? We'll go up on a stage.
Go ahead.
In front of a giant projection thing, and we'll give a presentation about.
Dude,
our
you
new
should
product.
do it. Can I ask you a
I
question,
told you
Gavin?
about my scariest one, right? What's that?
Go ahead with that then.
I might have already said it on the podcast, but yeah, we.
Yep. It's too fucking quiet. Why is it so quiet? Go ahead.
You were telling me another full circle story.
Are you allowed to tell that story that you told me recently?
Which story?
Go ahead.
I don't know what story to tell you.
It was about Zach. I think that's an interesting set of stats. Is like who's seen who's not.
Okay, go ahead. Whose knobs have you seen?
It's not like, there's fish pee.
Of course.
It's just a thing.
It's not like
no,
peeing
it's
in a
not.
pool.
It really isn't just a thing, but go ahead.
All right, well, I don't do it in a pool. That's gross.
I don't have a bird shit experience. I have a bird flying into me experience.
Go ahead. They got to hear this.
I mean, I don't know if I should bring up the story on the podcast.
Do you have to now? What is
Well,
it?
it's about you.
Go ahead. What is it? Which effort? I'm like Gavin now.
So speaking of sausage and
Go
stuff
ahead.
being in people's throats, when you choked the other day,
Yes.
thing you're trying to achieve isn't.
Well, go ahead.
Well, like wet dreaming on a plane.
Really?
Yep, someone turned it in.
Hey, is it true? Go ahead.
I've never wanted to bang any of my dude friends.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Miles.
Sorry, Miles. But I
Also,
will say,
Monty knows you're lying, but go ahead.
They trained the 5S to detect their nipple print.
Go ahead.
well, the idea of it works because I imagine everyone's anus is different.
Go ahead.
Then I remember the anuses are kind of.
10 years, you've been the head writer of Red vs. Blue.
I'm old. Get the point. Go ahead.
She has a question. She almost walked away because she was so distraught that you
Ma'am,
left.
I don't blame you.
So
I mean, I see the point of walking away from these two losers. Go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, my question's for you.
When you're possessed, it's the person who's possessing you that's doing this, all the stuff, right?
Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't think we even. So I got a bone to pick with you.
Go ahead.
For months now.
It's impossible to feel. It's just ebb and flow of knowing people.
So you're. So
Go ahead.
We're joking on top of you.
We told the story a bunch, haven't we? You.
Yeah,
feel free.
obviously
Go
he doesn't
ahead.
know it though.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So in the original.
Burnie, would you ever consider having a ladies or lashes?
Yes. What? Yes. Go ahead. I'm actually worried about that.
Okay,
Go ahead.
would you ever consider having a ladies or?
You have to pick a ball.
Help me understand the sperm thing.
Go ahead.
The sperm, the actual physical.
No.
No.
I think you should sing a song, Joel.
All right, sing a song.
You're on a mic.
Go ahead.
Happy
I was good.
birthday to-
And it would feel better than a fleshlight. And they were they were traded for this purpose. Would you get one? There's a weird rock that's alive. Have you seen it?
No.
Go on.
There's a creature
Go ahead.
that.
And then different levels of that are how you have stomach problems.
So I guess
Go ahead.
you have like liquidy, goopy stomach.
Here we go.
And then
Go
it goes
ahead.
into your intestines. Your intestines then pull.
I had a crazy dream I got to tell you about.
Okay.
I got to tell you this crazy dream.
Bring
No,
it.
but go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll get back to
You
it.
were going down somewhere.
So when they have that thing on the cat's head,
Go ahead.
how is it connected to the cat? Color blindness to me is
Go ahead.
interesting because
It is interesting. Clarify those statements and prove that soaps are actually antibacterial.
Go ahead.
I guess there's a lot of.
and put the disc in.
Go ahead.
It played a tribute to Paul Walker.
I'm gonna move on to something else I hate.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it theme parks?
Witches with brooms and stuff.
Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't that because they used to wedge the broom handles up themselves? Well, how's that rhyme go?
What?
His mother has the other.
Go ahead.
Is this like stuff you learn? This is like, why is it that the Golden Globes split up Best Drama separate from Best Comedy and Best Musical?
Why is it the Golden Globes separate what?
Best Drama
Go ahead.
is different than Best Comedy or Musical.
Okay,
shower.
imagine a curly straw.
Go ahead.
And that's your pipe.
Right.
But there's like loads of it.
So-
that would work. A poo I do in an airport, totally different to a normal poo.
Go ahead.
What about a poo on an airplane?
So I have a question about, it's related to poo.
Hello, go ahead.
But do you know how to use those on the thing, and then the middle bit hangs down?
This is
and
way more involved than I remember, but go ahead.
And you have to place it perfectly. I want to talk about Blaine for a second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Blaine makes an appearance in our
Today we did our we did lads act, but sometimes you can just kind of stretch your aim and like leak it out a little.
Yeah.
Speaking of comics and that, I was thinking about Wolverine.
Go ahead.
And like growing back and stuff. Really? This has come up before?
It has.
I was thinking of, I was thinking
a whole
of.
discussion on the Ain't It Cool News. Go ahead. So you're saying a female version of what would happen?
It's the morning. It's the bedroom.
Go ahead.
You need a Tuzin.
Yes.
A deaf person who
That's a
never
lot sadder.
learned any sign language of any sort
Go ahead.
would still be able to identify images. This will just be all over it, and they'll just eat the crap out of it. I was once at school, and
I'm learning it takes Gavin 20 minutes to pick something up, but go ahead.
if we were to do that with real gold,
Okay, go ahead. It's a very, very rare thing.
so I have liquid nitrogen
Go
and
ahead.
a lump of nitrogen. The lump would sink.
The lump would sink.
Okay. I went to pick up the dead cockroach.
Go ahead.
It was alive. The human race as a whole has crustier anuses
Go ahead.
because they just sit on the toilet after they've done pooing.
Fall through. Joel's supposed to jump off the ladder.
You want to tell the story? Go ahead, Jack. Tell the story.
No, you're much better. You're much better.
started it.
It's like if you cut a chicken's head off, there's a load of like twitching
Cut
and
his body
nasty,
off.
like
Go ahead.
cut his body off.
No!
You did it?
I'm going to suspend my story. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I have never drank from the furry cup, Gavin.
Gavin and Barbara, you have the floor. Go ahead.
No.
That's like
When
when
we
did
have
people discover the clit?
Go ahead. That's exactly what I was going for.
It's like
pedestals, like
that's
wobbly pedestals.
That's like an inch high, maybe.
Ping pong, that's another fucking sport. Sorry. Go ahead.
That was it.
Like
It's way more than 5.
Here we go.
go ahead.
What are the senses?
School us.
All right. Here's a question for both of you.
Go ahead.
In the paintball immersion,
I'll name it. I don't care.
Go ahead.
Smith and Walensky.
all right, shut your eyes,
Go ahead.
touch your knee.
Things.
If you were in free fall
Go ahead.
with no other senses,
Okay.
He definitely did a spoof one. There might be another one
Yeah,
you're
there's
talking
another
about.
way,
Go
like,
ahead.
Someone like tries to talk and like send a text message.
What's that war, buddy? What war are you talking about?
World War II.
Time Wars? Go ahead.
Because
Dude, Doctor Who?
do you want to hear something interesting?
Go ahead.
About Converse.
Go ahead.
Right. So Converse, if you buy a new pair,
And Gavin came out.
I'm listening.
And I'm like, hey, Gavin.
ahead.
He's like, hey,
here's what I like about this.
Go ahead.
I can just drop a subject.
if benevolent aliens
Benevolent aliens.
showed up tomorrow.
Like
on the-
Canadians?
What's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, benevolent,
What do you
like
say?
kind aliens.
I was just about to mention Doodle Jump.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every time I get on a plane, you know how you don't like it when
I don't like it when you...
that time when that comedian
that
followed
thing
me and I was
Yeah.
happy.
Go ahead.
You were just
I don't
talking at
like
the
it. I
same time.
just don't like it.
Like, I was excited that someone I respect.
You, speaking of
Hello.
the wedding,
Go ahead.
you almost pulled the ultimate prank.
Like the last time the Olympics were on,
Go ahead.
I was just watching the Olympics and here's like,
We are.
Why do you say confession like it's a problem?
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
I'm just admitting it. I'm not hiding it.
Confess? Okay, go ahead.
I'm confessing the podcast.
Would you like
is
to confess
pre-recorded.
you're also wearing glasses?
So yeah, I started playing on PC.
Go ahead.
And then I decided I wanted to play on PS4 instead. So I started playing on PC.
Rock.
did you ever as a kid pick up a rock and think,
Never.
I wonder how far
Wasn't
this...
allowed. Shut up. I had Neopets and rocks were off limits for me. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you ever pick up a rock and think, I wonder how far... I just had a thought, right?
Go ahead.
Going back to...
You just described it. You just described it yourself. Sorry, go ahead with your description.
Yeah, they had a...
It was always right by my fucking seat. Go ahead.
I found it.
I know what it is.
Minutes.
I want someone to back me up about the fact that go ahead. Go ahead.
We're talking about mystery time?
Mystery time.
Talk about it.
The people who want to go to Mars and die there,
Go ahead.
they have no intention of coming back. Except...
Is that what the word finite means to you? Can't change. There we go. Ahead.
Well, like a... That's not what I mean.
Fixed.
There you go. Fixed.
It's standardized. Go ahead. And then multiply.
That's the easiest one. You want to hear the
I
longest
really
one?
don't. I really don't. Okay, go ahead.
My hair is thicker
I'll
than
read
yours,
it.
Gavin.
I would not assume I have 14 bones in my face.
Well, you got your cheekbones.
Go ahead.
That's all I know.
I was about to say, you just...
And across the parking lot,
This
we
is
have
a
another
two-part
building.
story, by the way. This thing... Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, who is super popular on Vine, had a Tumblr,
Go ahead.
deleted his Tumblr, and someone else squatted.
I didn't lose a single game. I got dropped from one game. That
I
was
told
the game
Michael and I discussed that you were going to bring this up, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, I got dropped and you lost. But that's just because of the technical way it was made.
Go ahead.
It's the biggest movie because of technicality.
I thought it was.
do you mean?
What does that mean?
Like you can have like a vag cyst,
Go on.
Go ahead.
but they can only fix it when it's fully